Hi, it's Joe, and I'm making another video. This time it's going to be about Evolve. The two previous training videos I did were about Canvas. One was about how to activate the settings so that you can keep track of all the assignments. That's very, very important, and we'll be doing that. I'm going to be personally checking to make sure everyone did it when we meet on August 17th, because if you don't do that, then you're going to be hopelessly lost, which that is not my goal for you. Then the other one was about where to find all the readings and things when you're on the Canvas page. And that one was specifically going over, what to do about the modules and how to figure out what's due. And I went over looking at the assignments, getting the course calendar, all that other stuff. But now we have to add a whole new element of what we're trying to accomplish here, because the the textbook package has either arrived or will arrive. And the textbook package means that now, which you had to buy the 10th edition textbook package, you will have the codes for how to unlock Evolve. And when we get to going Evolve, which is the electronic resources that accompany the Potter and Perry textbook, such as this, then what happens is, when we get there, that kind of brings it off to a whole new dimension. I love the Potter and Perry book, and part of the reason is because they have the best electronic package there is. But if we don't orient you to how to do the package for Evolve, that's going to be a problem. Now, if you go to Canvas and you click on Fundamentals, and then you click on Assignments, it's going to give you lists of assignments, and the first list will be Housekeeping must read and acknowledge by August 21st. And this is a lot of what we're going to be doing August 17th, is making sure everybody is oriented to all the computer programs and everything. Because especially when we're doing so much of this online, if you can't figure out how to do the technology, you're going to find yourself paddling upstream without a paddle, and all that. So if you go to that section there, what you'll find is that very first section here says acknowledge assignments, housekeeping must read and acknowledge. Click on that, and then you go down to where it says updated August 6th, 2 documents that describe step-by-step how to activate Evolve account. And let's see what happens here. Okay, so now when we click on it, I uploaded these. These are straight from the Elsevier company. And what's going to happen here is you have to get the textbook, and with the textbook should be a little card with the activation code in it. And you can bring the whole textbook, but I believe that card is separate, and there are 2 such beasts. One is the HCC Studies with Practice Tests, and the other one is Nursing Concepts Online Student Enrollment Directions. So now here's what happens is, go to Student Enrollment Directions and click on it. And what's going to happen is, if you open that, should give me a minute here, it will give a very detailed set of descriptions as to what you need to do. It says where to find the access code, where to go. It's a 12-character access code, and you click on redeem, and all the steps, and it's more than 1 page, and it kind of gives you a sample activation. To the greatest degree possible, if you can do this before we even get there, do it. But guess what? If you can't figure out how to do it or you didn't get your textbooks until the day of, that's cool. We'll still figure out a way to get you to do it. What usually happens is if there's any person in the class who's already done it, I'll get them to help you, and I can also help you. We will be in a room that has desktop computers available to us. Like to have you do it on your own machine to make sure you have stuff. So if you have a laptop, bring it. But if you don't have a laptop, we'll give you a desktop to use so we can make sure we get that to happen. Now let me close that up. So that was one document. Then the other document that's on there is this one, and it says Cohort 4 PDF, and voila. Very typical here. You should do the other one first because the other one creates the Evolve account to the best of my knowledge. And then you're going to get to this one here. Now that happens to be the instructor code they made just for us. And basically that's a one-page thing. So that gets you into both of these programs there. And if you can manage to get, as like I say, if you can manage to get that done before we get to the class, all the more power to you, and you can start to explore. So once we've logged in, one of the things to do is figure out what will we find when we get there. And it has all kinds of goodies on it. Let me go out of this here, and I'm going to leave the Canvas page open for a minute. Now, probably while we're still on Canvas, if I hit assignments, one of the key things is that we have what are called the micro assignments, and the micro assignments are divided into 3 categories. One is Nursing Concepts Online, and these are case studies for you to do that we want you to do roughly around the time that the coursework is covering whatever is in the case study. The next one is there's something called the self-assessment, and so those cases, when it says Nursing Concepts Online, those are from Evolve. So what will happen is, first off, this tells you, go to Evolve and find this case study on, in this case, case study on professional identity, and do it. Now, unfortunately, I can't make a direct link from here to the page, but we've done the next best thing. It says here when the darn thing is due, and hopefully I got the dates right, which we'll get back to in a minute regarding this. But so each one looks like that. And then there are also what are called the self-assessment questions. And this tells you when to do it. Now, these appear, when they appear on here, that means they are graded by me, and you have to take a screenshot of whatever it is and submit that when you're done, which we'll get back to. When we get to Evolve, there's going to be a lot of stuff on there that is sort of extra. Hesitate to use that phrase, but let's put it this way. It doesn't contribute directly to the course grade. It's material you need to know and study, but you don't have to do the little mini quiz on that thing because the content will appear on the regular exams instead. So we have those things, but then finally, so when we have the micro assignments, we actually have 3 different categories of micro assignment. We've got the case study categories, we've got the self-assessment categories, and then the third part is the tickets to entry. Now the tickets to entry are also micro assignments, but they're from the study guide. They're not from Evolve. So when you're looking at the tickets to entry, this system doesn't apply or whatever. That's how it works for you. So if we close that up, so what we're going to be doing is each week there's going to be some of these things here. And so if I go back to also to the calendar, the ones that go in for the course grade also appear on the calendar, and usually those have been put in like on the weekend, because if I added every single one for a Tuesday, then that would just be incredibly unbalanced. So most of the time the case study will appear on a Saturday or a Sunday, just because I wanted to make the calendar not so overloaded on any individual day. As long as you do them before the due date, it doesn't really matter when you do them. But you'll see a bunch of them like that. That's where they all appear. And they are like I said before, those are the ones for the micro grades, like 0.1 points each, etc. So what we have was, we went over how to look at getting the Evolve set up, and then we looked at which assignments actually contribute to the course grades. And I'll start from the beginning here. When you get to Evolve, I have a icon on my dashboard that says Nursing Concepts. And what Nursing Concepts will do is, I already signed in, I believe, so I'm going to go to My Evolve. When I get to My Evolve, there's a couple things here. Now, one of the things here, it says link directly to Elsevier content with Evolve link. I'm not sure that, like I said before, I don't think Evolve link goes to Canvas. I sure wish it did. I'm going to have to find out, and if I'm wrong, we'll have to find out. But what will be happening here is, you will see this course here that says Semester 1, Cohort 4, Fall 2020, Nursing Concepts Online. And that happens to be ours that you just signed up for. And when you go there, the first thing you'll see is an announcement. And this particular announcement says, I've got as much of the stuff in there as I can. It's all in the calendar. Now, the thing that happens is when I go through all the possible activities and every other thing that you could do from this, what happens is, it's hard for me to figure out, or there's different ways of doing it, I suppose. We have to figure out, how do you find the announcements? And there would be a couple things to say. One is, if you are looking for, how do you find it? You went to Canvas, it said go do self-concept online quiz for whatever subject. What I have tried to do here is, this one also has a course calendar. So as much as possible, I've assigned due dates to these that make them appear on this course calendar. And I've tried to have it be the same due date. Tried to have it be the same due date as it is on Canvas. So when you're looking for one of the ones that needs to be done for micrograde on Canvas, go to the date. You go to this calendar, then go to the date that it said on Canvas, and you should be able to find the stuff there. Now, this one here, so like for example, let's find an example. August, we don't have as much happening. I've got the monthly view here. And you got to play around with this kind of. But like for example, self-assessment questions, then we'll just click on it. All right, so this says a bunch of things here. Self-assessment questions, communication, begin assessment. What this does is, in this case, the assignment looks like a series of questions that you can answer. And so it's a little quiz that you can do after you've done the reading. So the way that you would attack this is to say, oh, I'm going to go find the reading, which would be in the Potter and Perry text. Do the reading, then to check my own comprehension, I'm going to take the quiz and see how I did. And then it will say submit and then save answers, and it will tell you which ones you got or didn't get, and it will analyze it for you and everything. Now, we haven't really talked a lot about NCLEX questions, but one of the things here is you're going to hear this over and over again. NCLEX style questions, NCLEX style questions. NCLEX is the licensure exam that's run by the state of Florida using the NCLEX exam, and they have a very specific multiple choice format that they use that people become accustomed to and have to be able to do. And we start right off the bat getting you used to being able to understand what an NCLEX style question will be. I don't feel like taking this quiz for when we get together. We might do one live just for the heck of it. Probably at some point we'll do one live. I don't know when. So we can look at these and we can say how many times you did it, what was the item analysis, all this other stuff. And then this one says submit. Well, I don't feel like doing it. So, and I'm the one who said communication is deceptively tricky content. Keep at it till you get it. I made various, sometimes when I set it up for the date, I would make a comment about it. And I did that this time. There will be little Easter eggs in here, I guess, for you to enjoy. But so that was a self-assessment quiz. Now the next thing that will happen is some of these things will be on clinical skills, and as a rule I put them for Wednesdays on this calendar. The ones that, like I said before, the ones that are due for a grade, I use the exact same date that you would find in Canvas. But then some of these other things are skills about stuff that are related to the class. And this is, you have to kind of explore this, and we'll go through this too. But this is also a fun, interactive kind of thing that you can do, which is why I put the skills on. Head-to-toe assessment, population health. Begin assessment. Well, when you begin assessment, this one does not automatically start off with a quiz or a test. What it actually does here is, and virtually all the skills do this, which I think is neat. Now, if you actually went to Potter and Perry, and you were looking up in the Potter and Perry textbook, what are the page numbers for this or that? Those are the ones where the background color is always a sort of yellow, and it's to be found there. And it says skill 28.2 or whatever, and all the pictures. So you can do this, and in case you don't know, a laptop computer is just like a book, only a couple generations down the genealogy chart. So anyway, so what happens is, this is like another way of looking at the skill. But when you do that here, what happens is, you got this menu up here that says quick sheet, extended text, supplies, videos, illustration, test, and checklist. So like for example, we decide we're going to do head-to-toe assessment because we chose that here. And it gives us a whole bunch of stuff about there. Now, this is chapter 30, and if you, when we get to chapter, when we get to Canvas and this, and we're talking about chapter 30, there are some caveats and warnings that I have given you there. But okay, so that's cool. Let's look at the beginning of this part. Oh, wait a minute. All right, make another attempt, it says. I close that out, and it gives us a chance to do this more often. Okay, next is, so that was the quick sheet. You can scan that. The next one is, here is a little longer description of the same thing if you have more time. Okay, so then there is, the next thing is, tells you in order to do this skill, here's what you're going to need. And holy smokes, this is the one that says, get a goniometer, a gooseneck lamp, a reflex hammer, a Rosenbaum card, I don't even know what a Rosenbaum card is, and a Snellen chart, and I've been doing this a long time. But a Snellen chart and all this stuff. Vials of sweet, salty, sour, and bitter solutions to taste. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen anybody bring those into a patient room. This is why chapter 13 is the problem. Read the other chapter first. The one you really want to read is chapter 16, but we're going to get there. Hold on a minute. So, anyway, so supplies is one thing. Next is videos. Now, I looked at this one, so this one gives you a video. I kind of briefly looked at this one. Don't freak out when you see this. And I don't know, I just picked this one at random, oh my God. But for this particular thing, the video is 25 minutes and 38 seconds long. And of course, this guy's not wearing any PPE. Ah!
Disease or distress.
All right, so anyway,
mobility, posture,
it goes in there and it says all this stuff about, let's just flip forward, he's doing abdomen. Nurses don't do this, I mean, my goodness. He needs to,
walk across the room heel to toe.
He needs some manscaping, I guess. Heel to toe. Gee, I do that every Saturday night. All right, so then we have, let's see now. So then the next thing after this is, let's go back here. This one doesn't have any illustrations. But then what it will also do is, it will give you the chance, after you have viewed the skill and read the quick sheet, this one goes and it will give you a quiz to take with NCLEX style questions. This one happens to have 10 questions, and then then you can submit it. Now watch this. I'm going to do this as quick as I can. Excuse me. You're looking at the ears. Which of the following findings against potatoes? No. A small amount of cerumen. Which arteries or bruits considered normal? Bruits are never normal. Then neck rotation on either side should be, might have to say, I bet it's close to this, but if I was in a bus accident once, my neck don't work the same it should. All right, which following cranial nerve is observed by, should be the 7th. Then we have, for which reflex is the normal response plantar flexion of the foot? Oh my golly. Plantar flexion would have to be Achilles. Then we'd have to say, and this is me, what is the purpose of clenching his teeth and smiling? Nope. I bet you it's this one. Alright, so I obviously I didn't take the test beforehand, which is not included in the head-to-toe assessment. Exercise stress test. Why is it important to have equipment and supplies before the exam? Duh. Then finally, which of the following is part monitoring of patient of monitoring and care? Alright, so let's try this. So then, obviously, you just watched me take the exam. I have no idea how I did. I was just going, oh yeah, let's do that one. And I got a 100%. Hey, that's pretty good. You know what? That leads me to think that maybe I am qualified to teach this course after all. For those of you who are doubting me. But anyway, so this says you got 100% correct. So now that tells me I don't have to study this no more. And that's how we do. So, oh, I feel good now. I'm a satisfied person, I suppose. But what happens is I should have actually purposely done some wrong. But then I think if I had done that, you would have figured that I had gotten them wrong anyway because I didn't know and I was hiding it somehow to make myself look good. I'm long over it in terms of feeling like I have some compulsion to look perfect. You'll find out that I'm not perfect, and that will shock you, but there we go. So then we have, so in this section there's a checklist, and the purpose of the checklist is, if you were doing the skill and there was an observer, the observer would print off the checklist and watch you do each thing and give you a grade as we do it. Now, your ability to do something from a checklist is critical in all of these things, and that's part of the whole business. We're teaching you an actual skill that you perform, and it's like Olympic gymnastics or diving. 9.6, 9.6. East German judge gives 9.8. Russian judge gives 8.2. That kind of thing. We do that in nursing a lot. You have to be able to learn how to do the skill from the checklist. Let's go out of that and see where we went to. So we may now safely close that window. So let's go back to the course calendar. So when you actually look at this, and I'm going to shock you when I do this part. Oh my God, I feel bad about what I'm about to show you. It's horrible. But here's September. There's a lot of things for assessment and meds. When you get there, you're going to read them all. And some of these, they're there. All right, so the ones you have to do the ones that are for the micro grades. If you don't do those and you don't do those on time, then you lose actual points in the actual course. That would be a bummer. Some of these other things, what happens is they're there because they're available to you, and it's a different mode of study, like left brain, right brain kind of thing. And I'm not really checking to see if you did every single darn thing. But so there's October. That's got a bunch of them on there. Then we go to, Then we go to November. And November has another pile of things on there. I decided to give you Thanksgiving Day off, and you aren't even grateful yet. And then into December now, so we don't have as many new. Semester ends December 8th, but so we've got all the skills and the micro assignments in here as we go. Now, what else is there? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what shows up. For me as a faculty member, I can click on here and see what shows up. And what shows up is, there's kind of this menu on the left-hand side that says the different courses, and it's collapsible and all that. The 3 main courses and what's in them, and stuff that's available to you from there. And this is well worth messing around and doing stuff. Now, I didn't really there's a couple things in here that I didn't really go into in a lot of detail. One is such a thing as making a custom adaptive quiz. If you feel like you would like to make some quizzes and do just NCLEX practice on this thing here, this will allow you to do it, and it will, it can do it. I've had students now, we used Pearson for a couple of years, but when we had been using Elsevier prior to that, there were people who loved the adaptive quiz thing. And likewise, there were people who just loved the little quizzes that went with every skill, because the quiz, all right, so like for example, PPE. All right, this is one we're going to actually do. It's like a lot of people love this where they say, okay, I'm going to read it, study it, watch the videos, watch YouTube, study this, study that. We got 40 places for every single skill. And then there was just a lot of people who totally loved the idea of having this. Now, this is independent of the quizzes that are for the micro grades. This is specifically for the skills that we'll teach you in Skills Lab. But like, for example, it tells you, it says, here's a bunch. I'm not going to take this here. I think I ought to know this one by now. All right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do them all wrong or randomly. Don't think less of me. All right, so if there's a risk of a blood splash, we'll just say that I'm going to purposely answer them wrong. So this does not mean I'm stupid. I'm only half as stupid as you think I am. Kind of. Okay, put on clean gloves. I'm just picking an answer without even reading the question. Okay, I actually read the question last time, and this time I didn't do it. Protect the uniform. Document, do this. This is about 10 questions, and like, for example, what does it do if you didn't get... All right, this is 5 questions. Dun da 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 da. All right, got none of them right. Oh my God, I'm a failure. My nursing career is slipping down, is circling the drain. All right, so as you saw, don't take this out of context. I purposely just randomly put stuff down. It's got that one wrong, and it says, why is this the wrong answer? What's the correct answer? And part of it is, you have to be able to get feedback on how did you do this. So like before the exams, do as many of these as you can on related subject, and that'll give you an idea. I don't reuse these exact questions in the exam. We have a separate test bank, but it's similar here, and it says, okay, rationale for each one. So it gives you the chance to do the rationales. And as I said before, in the past when we've had this, I've had students who totally loved this and swore by it and said this was the best thing since sliced bread. And so, hey, if this helps you, I'm not going to stop you. You paid a pile of money for all this stuff. So anyway, so let's see what we can do to go back. I'm going to come back out of that one. Now, there's a couple of things. Let me go back here to this piece. I'm going back to Canvas here because there's a few things to know about the grading, and it says this in the assignments, but I might as well tell you about it here because this is an issue here. Each of you has probably about 80 of these things that have to get uploaded sooner or later. But if I have 30 students in the class and I have 80 assignments each, that is literally somewhere along the nature of 2,400 assignments, more or less, over the course of the week. You have to do your 80, but I have to clock in all of the 80. So very important, when you are submitting it, you can't just email it to me. If you email it to me, that takes about 8 keystrokes for me to get it into the grade book. So what you have to do here is, where does this say? Wrong place. It says course policies for micro assignments. All right, I'm in the wrong spot here. Let's go back up here. there should be one that says how to submit Evolve assignments. This is the one. All right, don't send it to my email. Don't text it to me. Only send it via Canvas. What happens is, don't use the in-house computer screenshot, because what I want you to do is you need to make a little post-it note that has your name on it. And when you take, how's my fingernails? That's a bruise. When you send it, I want you to use your mobile to send it, and take it so that there is some identifying thing in the picture along with the screenshot that tells me that that's yours and that you're just not submitting someone else's screenshot. The reason I do this is because if you do it the correct way, I can evaluate it and click it in 5 seconds. If you email it to me, it takes me 2 or 3 minutes sometimes to get it in the right format, and then the computer, I can't do stuff outside Canvas, and then the computer messes it up, and it just takes too long, and it's annoying. So I mean, this is set up for your convenience, but if we don't all follow the system, then it is sort of a pain for me, which I don't want to have. All right, so then what else is there? So there are rules about how to do this. And usually there will be a thing that says submit and upload something to this. What else was there on that set of stuff? Finding the content, submitting course policies for micro assignments. What did I put down there? All right, so the next thing is this. When we offer all Evolve assignments, actually for all assignments, if it has a due date, it's got a due date. Canvas will automatically subtract points if you're late from the due date. So I'm completely out of it. If you're late, that's late. It clocks it in down to the minute. When was it submitted? What was the due date? And we do follow those. I'm not your mother, and I'm not going to track you down. The first few weeks you may have trouble with it, but basically after the first 2 weeks, if it's late, it gets a penalty. That's all there is to it. If it's a certain period late, it gets a 0, whether you did it or not. So you might want to look at that there. That's part of the whole thing here. Now, some of the assignments are those quizzes. And there is one little loose end here, which is, for some of the quizzes, it gives you a score. Now, we had the practice quiz on the skills. But for these self-assessment skills, it gives you an actual score, and I need to have your actual score on the self-assessment skill. That has to show up on whatever you submitted for the screenshot. Now, here's the glitch is, some of the other faculty told me you can set it so the person gets 3 tries on the quiz part. But I haven't figured out how to do that. Right at this exact moment, some of them are only set to give you 1 try. And if you get a 15% on the 1 try, that's 15% of whatever it is. And I did have a student who thought I wasn't reading any of these and uploaded some of the quizzes that they had gotten a 0 on. And I just said, hey, yes, you did the quiz, but you got a 0 on the quiz. That don't count. I'm reading what the quiz is, and it says that in the course policies somewhere. And it's designed to help you do all your learning, all this other stuff. Next on the assignment related to Evolve is, okay, course policy for micro assignments, YouTube. All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to do. So basically, what we have here is we have stuff for each of the 3 courses. Oh, and by the way, I put this picture up here because when we're in Skills Lab, we're going to have to wear the N95 plus the surgical mask plus the face shield. So this person is there to inspire you. This is you in your new look. But anyway, so what I tried to go over was some of the details about Evolve. If you can get on Evolve using all those steps, all the more power to you when you get the textbook. If not, it's also cool. And there we go. So now this is about 40 minutes and 30 seconds long. I want to thank you guys. Please do make a comment or send me a message when you get this. I'll send out what we're doing with this. Thank you very much and have a great day.